Let's catch up with the weather. Carol, we've sent her out into the cold today. She's in Kew Gardens. Very good morning, Carol.
Good morning. It is cold here, Louise. It's cold across many areas with some ice this morning. But how do our plants cope in this kind of weather? Well, who better to ask than the head of horticulture here at Kew Gardens, Dr. Tim Entwistle. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
Now, what should we do to protect our plants in this kind of weather?
Well, like us, a lot of plants slow down and they need to be protected. So we can wrap them in fleece, you can put them in a nice protected area or in a glass house if you've got that. But there's quite a few plants that love this kind of weather. So things like the snowdrops are out flowering now, daffodils are starting to come up. So just watch them, make sure you don't tread on them and be careful when you walk through the snow.
Now, some of my plants, unfortunately, have died in this, or at least they look like they have. Is there any way of reviving them?
Look, there is. Just wait. Don't do anything dramatic. Don't cut them back. The best thing is just to wait. Leave that dead material there. That will protect them in case there's any more snow or any more cold. Wait and see. Back in spring, or when spring comes, you'll see if they've survived.
That's brilliant advice, Tim. Thank you very much. You're coming back to talk to us again in an hour with more good advice. But for now, thank you. Now, it is cold here this morning. There is a lot of ice around wherever you are this morning. Watch out for that, especially on untreated surfaces. Also watch out for freezing.
Let's get the weather now. Carol is in Kew Gardens in London for us this morning. She's smiling because she knows her shift is coming to an end. Morning, Carol.
That's very true, John. It has been good fun this morning, though. It is pretty cold, though, here at Kew Gardens. And if you've been worried about your outdoor plants and are wondering how to care for them now, who better to ask than the head of horticulture here, Dr. Tim Entwistle. Tim, thank you so much for coming down so early this morning, and it's cold.
It is cold. It's a pleasure to be with you as always.
Oh, thank you. Now, what should we be doing to look after our plants?
Well, you've got to get to know your plants, and a lot of the local ones, the British plants, of course, don't mind this kind of weather. So we've got snowdrops and daffodils all doing fantastically. But some of our more precious plants we need to wrap up, sometimes put them away in a protected corner, and glass houses. In fact, we're going to have a great big orchid display here in the Botanic Gardens in February of orchids from all over the world. They need to be tucked away inside a glass house and kept warm.
What about things like trees and bushes? Because you often see a lot of lying snow on top of them. Does that rot the leaves?
Look, in most cases it's not too bad. A lot of the deciduous trees have lost their leaves already, but you should just make sure it doesn't break or bend those branches. So sometimes a little shake if you can, get that snow off. Otherwise, don't worry too much. It'll melt. The plants are really tough, much tougher than we think.
Tim, as always, you are such a star. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Now, it is pretty cold here this morning. We're not alone. It's cold across many areas. Watch out for ice on untreated surfaces and also watch out for freezing fog patches.